Now let's go ahead and take a look at the query editor. So assuming we've got our connections, and I'm going to do this, demonstrate this using a demo environment that I have on Snowflake, which is a public a cloud database platform. And I'm going to go ahead and you can see here in the query editor, you can create as many tabs as you want. Each tab can connect to one database at a time, but you could have one tab that's connected to Snowflake, and maybe you have a different database, like a Redshift database, connected with another tab. So I'm going to go ahead and stick here in Snowflake, and I'm going to just type out a simple query. If you'd like Aginity Pro to help auto-complete your SQL as you're typing it, it's going to be important to essentially tell Aginity Pro which database you're working with, so that we can index the tables and columns within that database, and then autocomplete would be able to assist you in typing out that query. So since I'm going to be using this Aginity demo database, I'm just going to give this a quick tap. I don't need to do any more than that. You can actually see in the bottom right corner that this actually kicks off an indexing, and that means that the autocomplete function is going to be able to help with this. So let's just write a simple query here, and we'll just select all from Aginity Demo, public, landing, offering. This is a products table, and our class name. It's like sports. I'm a little familiar with this database already, so that's why I'm going to go ahead and write this and run this. And we can see the results here at the bottom. And we'll see the results here in the results grid. So simple query, we actually also support the concept of parameters or prompts. So if this, for example, is a query that I'd like to come back to or share with a peer, and instead of always looking for sports, I actually want to be able to prompt the user to enter something. You can actually put a parameter in here like this. Let's call this a class prompt. And when we run this, it's actually going to prompt us to enter that. So I could still enter sports, which we were just using, but maybe I want to change it this time and enter with games. Then you can see now the class name is restricted by games. You may have noticed that we have a very clean interface here at Aginity Pro. There's not a lot of buttons. There's not a big toolbar or ribbon with lots of icons in it. We wanted to give you the most space possible to go ahead and write your queries and look at your results. But that means that it doesn't mean that we actually don't have those editor functions. We've just tucked those away into something we call the command palette. So if you're looking for shortcuts that would maybe help you with formatting, maybe a way to help edit your SQL faster, you can just hit Command Shift and P for a Mac, or Control Shift P on a Windows machine. And that's actually going to bring up this searchable list of commands. It's really fast to go ahead. If you wanted to use this to, for example, uppercase your SQL, maybe you like to write something in all uppercase, go ahead and hit Command Shift P, start to type uppercase, and that'll find the function for doing that. Let's do that a little slower. I start typing uppercase, and it'll show me that function. Some of the functions, you'll notice, actually have shortcuts, keyboard shortcuts already assigned. So if you like, you can just memorize that shortcut. If you see one that doesn't have a shortcut, you can actually add your own. So let's go ahead and run that here. And the way to add any custom hotkeys would just be to go to Aginity Pro key bindings. That's going to open up a little interface where you can pick your own hotkeys for any of the functions. So just if you have your favorite commands already memorized from a previous software or other tool, you can just configure Aginity Pro to work like that for you. Okay, let's move on to the results grid. Just a couple quick things to note here. When you run a query, your results are always going to appear down at the bottom. You have the ability here to select just some of these columns to display, or you can search for those columns if there's a lot of them. You have within each column the ability to create filters, or to be able to sort that. So when you click on that, it will go ahead and sort. And if you're happy with these results, you can choose to export everything, either copying this to your clipboard or exporting it to a file. I'm going to go ahead and export this all to a command separated file, and that will just pull up a prompt so that you can go ahead and export those.